Do you really know what total body workouts are? Someone asked in our community, one of our groups, how do I choose my weight when I'm doing a total body exercise and I have an ectomorph upper body and an endomorph lower body? Now, there's a lot to break down and unpack in this question, and I will. First, though, the short answer is you don't. All right, let me break this down again. But this is not a question you want to be asking. So let me break down what she asked so that you can follow along. Don't roll your eyes, don't go anywhere. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top struggles and concerns, and I share what to eat, how to move, and how to change your mindset, often about how to eat and how to move. So you can have the energy and the vitality that you want, need, and deserve in the second and better half. All right. This listener community member question asks several things. How do I choose my weight when I'm doing a total body exercise? And I want you to catch that. So by total body exercise, we're assuming an exercise, a single exercise is using upper and lower body. Now, if you can imagine, certain exercises may come to mind right away. When you swim, hopefully you're kicking, right? You're not everybody does, by the way. You're using your arms and your legs. When you're, say, riding an airdyne bike, I think they still make them. Somebody out there still has one in their garage or basement. You're using both your upper and lower body. You could say when you're on an elliptical trainer, using both the arms and the legs, you're doing an upper and lower body exercise. But in this case, the asker was asking about a strength training exercise. We'll get to that in a minute. And she said, here's the problem. I have two different body types that she's working on. Given that we are not all perfect, someone up there didn't get the message. And we've got more. She knows her body well enough to know she's more of an ectomorph upper body. And I've talked about body types and their effect on you and the optimal exercise program in terms of strength training you may want to choose. That's in a Flipping 50 TV episode. You may want to check that out, and I'll put the link in the show notes. But an ectomorph means very little muscle mass, very little fat mass for that matter, and just very lean, very linear. So think small on top. And she said, I have an endomorph lower body, meaning she's got more ample cushions in the sofa. How's that? Really, what I'm talking about is got a little bit more curvy girl situation going on from the probably knees to the belly button. That's kind of pear shaped. What we know women to be primarily when they're still in menopause or still in perimenopause. A lot of women who will go into menopause and then postmenopause will find it's much easier to deposit weight around the belly and the midsection. That's all about cortisol and insulin. That's in episodes past and present, probably future, but less so this exact one. Now, what she knows is a lot about her body. So I love the body awareness that she's got. But here's what I say. When you're doing strength training, this is not a question that you really want to be asking. Not if you're a woman in midlife, because what I, as a strength and conditioning coach, what a hormone balancing menopause specialist wants to know is that a midlife woman is doing strength training moves to take major muscles to muscular fatigue. To boost metabolism, it supports weight loss, it improves muscle strength and fiber number, and it improves bone density. All high priorities for midlife women who are planning to age like a babe. All right, I also want to know that you have the time and the energy, because often it's energy is another piece of the puzzle. You don't have it to spend to do more exercise than that basic, most important muscle fatiguing kind of exercise, and to expand your functional workouts or do functional movements within the same strength training workout, which is probably a wise choice. So you're not then putting other additional days on the calendar, but you're using the highest percentage on your highest priority goals, and you're using a small percentage to work on other goals. And we all have lots of goals, right? Like giving me it all. Give me it all today, or yesterday is yesterday. Right now, I want it, right? You know that. So I also want to know that you're focused on the goal of every movement in a strength training program. So there's no accident. We're not throwing in an exercise because it's sexy. That's a great exercise. You would never want to say those words. You want to say, this is a great exercise for me right now because what it does. That's how we choose great exercises. And you always have to choose with your weakest link in mind. So in this case, though she sounds to me like she's choosing weights for an upper body, lower body combination exercise, meaning maybe she's doing a squat and then she comes to stand and she does an overhead shoulder press. Now, listen, I'm not a fan of either one of those. I'm not a fan of doing shoulder press out here. I bring the elbows in. There are a lot of just safety, simple cues that make one exercise much better, much safer, and then may make you say, do I really want to do that one exercise, or will this be more effective if I do two exercises, one specifically for my upper body and one specifically for my lower body? Now, I know we put things on the top shelf where the china goes at Thanksgiving, and we have to get things there, but we're generally not squatting before we do it. So we need a strong core to do that, or we need to call in the 6'2" person in your family and say, could you come in here for a minute and just do this for me? That's an okay thing too. But if you don't have that option, you live alone, and the four-legged friend who lives in your house is not helpful, then you want to be able to do that, or get a step stool and be able to do it, but still be stable with your lower body while you're doing it. So I understand that those things may feel functional. However, when are we really doing that? When are you really bending down and loading your lower body while you press up and then coming up and pushing something up and over your head? I struggle to think of even one example in my day-to-day life where that ever happens. I'm a triathlete. It doesn't even happen there. Okay, let's talk about functional exercises versus strength training exercises, full body activities, and how we start to sort this out in my mind and yours. Functional type exercises would be a burpee. Now, I've promised you, and if you've been here for a minute, you know you will never, ever, ever, ever see me do a burpee in a workout. And the reason is there are too many things that can go wrong. On the way down and on the way up, there's probably almost 10 places where you could get injured in the combination of that starting point to the end point. And if there is a risk and reward ratio, and the risk is higher than the reward, and there's another way to get all the rewards safely, I'm going to choose that option for you every day, all day. There's no reason to put yourself at risk. And for a lot of women, exercise is how we negate stress. So why would we ever create more stress for you by causing you to be injured and not be able to do the thing that helps you negate your stress? Case in point. Okay, so a burpee, just for example's sake, all right, is a functional type exercise because you are using your upper body, your lower body, and going through a series of motions. A squat to a shoulder press, I gave that example. A renegade row. Now, if you're not sure what I mean, you are in a plank position. For those of you that do yoga, not planks. Who is that today? It's 2021. But you're in the top of your about to lower yourself down in chaturanga. That's the top of a push-up pose. And from there, you would be doing rowing actions. So you'd have a dumbbell in your hand, or you'd pass them off. You'd pull one up, put it down, pass it off to the other side, or you'd have your hand literally on dumbbells ready to go. That's a renegade row. What's involved there? Just everything, right? Every body part. So even though you may be able to do a rowing action, you may not be able to do that exercise because the core is used so much in that exercise, and every muscle in your body is on in order to perform it. Okay, next up is something called a power clean and press, which is basically you've got a bar hanging either down low, sometimes can be on the floor, and you're going to bring that up right to here, and then you're going to push it up and overhead. And there's a little jump involved. That is lower body, it's core, it's upper body. And a lot could go wrong. Should we do that? Could we do that? So whether you should or could really depends on you, what else your history is, what your risks are, and whether you can do that safely really depends on how well are you taught, how well are you supervised, how well are you corrected. The quality of your coach can determine the quality of your exercise and therefore of your result. So functional type exercises, that's what we've just named: a burpee, a squat to a shoulder press, a renegade row, and a power clean. Full body exercises. So let's just say full body activities. Water skiing. Think about it. I mean, you're balancing, your legs are in a squat statically, moving a little bit, adjusting to the water and the waves and the tide and getting outside of the wake. And you're holding on for dear life. If you've ever done water skiing, like, you go and then it's like, you better go as long as you can because after that, your arms may not work again if it's been a long time. So you're working upper and lower body for sure. And when you're doing that, you're leveraging them. You're also working your core. Nothing is not working. It's a full body activity. Definitely includes muscle endurance, right? But there's no repetitions. Swimming, again, I mentioned that earlier. Everything should be working. Now, some people don't kick. However, that's very helpful. And then lastly, rowing. So that might be a rowing machine. It might be crew, like literally rowing on a team. It's becoming more and more popular depending on where you are. So I'd love to hear from you in the show notes if you've joined a rowing crew or a rowing team, because it's super fun. But that can be a full body activity. You're leveraging your lower body. There is some flexion in the knees. You bring the seat closer, push away, and then you follow through with a pull in a row. And you repeat upper and lower body. And whenever, again, you're doing that, you're leveraging your core. So those are full body activities, not an exercise that you do and then it's over. Like you can do a repetition of a burpee. You can do a repetition of a renegade row, of a squat to a shoulder press. But in terms of water skiing, rowing, swimming, those are ongoing endurance, repetitive type movement activities, more what we call aerobic, although they could be anaerobic. I don't know if you've ever water skied and you're holding your breath sometimes, right? Oh my God, am I doing it? Am I doing it? Okay. Next, strength exercises. So what's the difference? Now we're talking squats, or if you were in a gym, for instance, you might not be doing a squat. You could, or you might choose to do a leg press, a chest press, whether it's a machine or dumbbells, really doesn't matter. And a bent over row or a seated row on a machine, a bent arm pullover, a lat pull down. These are strength exercises. Now, if you go light on the weight, it becomes a more muscular endurance exercise, but I don't want to get into the nuances there. But we're really talking about focus on a muscle group and or a body part. For instance, if I do a chest press, I'm working major muscles in the chest. I'm working my pectoralis major, but also my pectoralis minor. And I'm also working my triceps. So major muscle groups in the upper body, specifically the chest, is what I'm focused on. Likewise with the back, the opposite is true. And the muscles involved in the back and in a row would be biceps for the arm. Okay. Now, you've got the idea. There's functional type exercises, there's full body activity, and then there's strength exercises. Now, I'm going to go down a path here that may lose you for a moment, but I'm going to use triathlon for an example. First of all, it's near and dear to my heart, and I know it well, and that's why it came to mind. But just bear with me while I use triathlon to illustrate several points. A triathlete is often called a multi-sport athlete because he or she does swimming, biking, and running, and then we string them all together for an event called the triathlon. Individually, those are upper body, and lower body predominant exercises, respectively. No argument there. Together, they create a total body experience. Somebody actually doing a triathlon or maybe doing a double brick. We often call that or a brick kind of a workout, stringing some of those together in rehearsal for the event. That would be a total body experience. To go on, let's talk about this. In season, when athletes are in season, meaning I'm doing lots of races. I've got one this week and I have one in 2 weeks. I have one in a month, and I'm just for illustration. So no, I'm not. I'm riding the desk personally and swimming in paperwork. And yeah, okay. So here we go. So when a triathlete is in season, the most important priority is competing, doing well, moving efficiently. So they might do strength training that is more functional in nature, more exercises that are total body and injury prevention oriented, that improve muscle patterning, that improve alignment, that improve muscular balance, say from the front to the back of the body, from the left to the right side, and not putting too much emphasis on strength or power, because that might take away from the power that they need riding that bike up a hill. That number one goal that they have in season, which is performance. But off season, a triathlete may lift heavy and add power, a little bit of speed in full body workouts. Focus on the lower body, focus on the upper body with exercises that focus on body parts or muscle groups specifically and be a little less functional in nature for a bigger percentage of the time. The goal being to build strength and build power that will translate later into speed and efficiency during swimming and biking and running, and or improved body composition for competition months later. Menopause, the sport. You thought I was going to say musical, didn't you? Okay. Consider menopause as a sport, because it's a whole lot more fun to think of it that way, really. Coach said, "You there, shaking like a leaf on the edge of your bench, you're in." Yeah. This season, the highest priority of your training is maintaining or gaining lean muscle, which is controllable, by the way, while focusing on fat loss is not. It's like sand slipping through your fingers. Focus on the muscle. Lifting heavy weights safely with good form and technique is exactly what your strength and conditioning coach, aka me, recommends. Functional workouts have gotten out of control. Trainers and fitness instructors don't even know all too often what the purpose of an exercise is. Instead, they're thinking, this is a cool exercise. It's a great prop or a toy to try. By the way, fitness instructors and trainers love toys, but they often are just using toys for variety. Because if we get that toy and it's more variety, people will come back. More people will come to my class. And it becomes an ego thing. And we've forgotten sometimes in the fitness industry that this is all about the results and the experience that you as the customer have. Okay, the bottom line, if your goal is metabolism, it's muscle strength, and it's longevity, so that not just today, because I know today matters, Saturday night matters. Like you want to go into the closet, you want to pick things out, and you want to say, yes, this looks great on me. I feel great in this. That's what you want to say, and that's what I want you to say. But I also want you to say, what I did to do that to get here is going to also give me strength and give me longevity for the next 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 years. That's what matters. It's a 2 for 1 when we do it right. It's a 1 for 0 if you do it wrong. So let's get this right. So here's the thing. You want total body workouts that include major muscle group focused exercises where one body part gets all the attention. If your goal, and it might be, is a functional movement specific to a sport, to pattern your body for more efficient power, speed, agility, then total body exercise is what you want. Most women have both as goals, but it's like looking at a pie chart. Which is the biggest priority that you have, and which is the smallest? And make sure that you're including that 80 or 75% of your workout as focused on your biggest priority, and you're including 10, 15% of your workout on those functional movements that you can find time for. And that is, if you have 20 minutes, you have 30 minutes, you still take that pie chart, and every workout includes a little bit of that. Sometimes the functional pieces can be in your dynamic warm up. We have warm up 1, full body workout. We have warm up 2, functional dynamic warm up, preparing your body and your brain for getting ready for the exercise. That can happen in every workout. No matter how big or small, it shrinks like an accordion. It should always be there. Warm up 1, warm up 2, main set, main focus, your little bit of core, and a cool down. That includes a prolonged, elongated stretch where you're holding those stretches 15 to 30 seconds, ideally 2 to 4 times. And I know you're not going to do it later. Do it now. All right. I hope that was helpful. I hope that cleared up for you the difference between total body workouts versus total body exercises and helped you determine what are your number one goals so that you can pick the number one exercises that go into those workouts. Now, if you have questions, if you'd rather somebody did that for you, if you want to move more regularly, if you want more energy instead of exercise that makes you more tired or sore or potentially put you at risk for injury, I created the 10-day hot, not bothered challenge to teach you the connection between hormone balance and exercise choices. It's offered very infrequently. This is the second, but it's the last time it'll be offered in 2021. We just don't have room for it on the calendar. It's almost Christmas, for crying out loud. It starts September 1st and it concludes on the 10th. So make no mistake, this is a challenge. The challenge is doing the workout once every day for 10 days, 10 different workouts, and I'll be teaching you about 10 different hormones, how you're affecting them positively by doing the workout I'm about to give you. And some days that workout is actually a recovery because this is not like some quick fix. Someone asked me the other day, how much weight do people lose on this? Well, sometimes none. They just feel better. They just don't feel miserable anymore. They just sleep better by day 4. Sometimes, yes, there's weight loss, but that's not my goal for you. My goal is when you get to the end of 10 days, you understand how to exercise for the rest of your life and do it better in a way that you feel better, have more energy for the life, not just for the workout. Because if a workout that you'd say, this is a great workout, you're dripping with sweat and you're pouring yourself into it and out of the room, you go, and then you end up on the couch for days before you do it all over again, that's really not effective exercise if you want to get better at life. That's my goal. It's my goal for you. So this is your chance, the last chance in 2021 to get started on a 10-day kickoff to your fall. Now, total transparency. September 1st through September 10th includes a 3-day weekend. It's a holiday. I get it. Some of us will find that makes it easier to fit in because we're a little bit more relaxed, slow paced. Others of us are traveling out of town and will use excuses that we're traveling and we're out of town, ignoring the fact that disease actually has a heyday when you take a vacation from your health habits. So just a little gentle, with respect, reminder that you may want to just try to fit this in anyway. Okay, so here we go. Random exercise, by the way, does not get results. If you want loosey-goosey, I'd love to do those 10 workouts, but whenever I wanted to. Can I come back to them later? No. That kind of workout happens at YouTube. But listen, random results gets random or comes from random exercise. So let's exercise on purpose to get what we want. All of it, right? You can have it all. The link to the show notes where you can get the challenge, link to the challenge is flipping50.com/total body workouts, plural. And the link to the challenge is this, flipping50.com, that's all words spelled out, no numbers, flipping50.com/HNB challenge. That stands for hot, not bothered. HNB challenge. And I hope to see you on the inside. And P.S., the sooner you start, you get access immediately to the early bird bonus videos. Those disappear. So you can start using the mobility videos and the how-to. So if you've done a strength training workout before, but you always wondered, why do squats or lunges sometimes hurt my knees? You'll know. You'll know what position you should be in and what to feel and how to adjust if you do feel it on your knees so that you can avoid that in the future. One thing I've learned over 37 years is that not every instructor or every trainer catches all the details, the nuances of the position of their clients. Sometimes they're a little bit too busy checking their phone or looking at your eyes as opposed to watching. Where's the weight on your feet at? Is it on the balls of your feet or on your heels? Where's your bum in relationship to your heels? Where is your knee related to your toes? All of those little details matter. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. All right. I'll see you on the flip side. What are you waiting for? Let's start flipping 50 today.